They mocked a single. Dad at a CEO bodyguard tryout. Then he dropped the strongest man in seconds. The laughter echoed across the training grounds long before the competition even began. Under the bright morning sun, dozens of elite bodyguard candidates stood outside, the headquarters of one of the most powerful corporations in the city. Their muscles bulged beneath expensive athletic gear. Their confident expressions revealed years of combat, training, and professional security experience. Many looked like action movie stars. They had arrived believing they were the strongest men in the room. Then a worn-out pickup truck rolled slowly into the parking lot. A tall man stepped out carrying a small backpack and a lunch container, covered with colorful superhero stickers. Within seconds, the crowd started laughing. The man looked nothing like the others. His shirt was old but clean. His shoes were faded. Dark circles rested beneath his eyes. He looked exhausted, like someone who hadn't slept properly in years. Nobody there knew that he had spent the entire night working a warehouse shift before arriving. Nobody knew that he was a single father. And nobody knew that before this day ended. Every single person mocking him would be left speechless. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and never judging people by appearances, please like this video, comment below, share this story with your friends and family, and subscribe to the Dad Chronicles. Your support helps us bring more emotional and inspiring stories to life. The man's name was Garrick Rowan. 3 years earlier, his life had looked completely different. He had been happily married to his wife, Ilara. Together, they were raising their young daughter, Nova. Life wasn't perfect, but they were happy. Then tragedy arrived without warning. A drunk driver ended Ilara's life on a rainy evening, while she was returning home from work. In a single moment, Garrick lost the person he loved most. The pain nearly destroyed him. For months, he felt like he was drowning. Every morning, he woke up wishing the nightmare wasn't real. Every night, he cried after Nova fell asleep. But grief wasn't the only challenge. Medical bills, rent, groceries, school expenses, and childcare costs quickly piled up. Garrick sold almost everything he owned just to survive. His savings disappeared. His truck was nearly repossessed. Some weeks, he skipped meals so Nova could eat properly. Yet every morning, he still woke before sunrise. He packed Nova's lunch, braided her hair as best he could, walked her to school, worked 2 jobs, and somehow found the strength to smile. Because when a child depends on you, giving up is no longer an option. One evening, while scrolling through job listings, Garrick discovered an opportunity that seemed almost impossible. A billionaire CEO named Corinne Ashford was searching for a new personal bodyguard. The position offered a salary larger than anything Garrick had ever earned. Health insurance, housing assistance, college savings benefits, everything he needed to give Nova a better future. The problem was simple. Thousands of candidates were expected to apply. Most were younger, stronger, better connected. Yet Garrick submitted his application anyway, not because he believed he would win, but because fathers learn to chase impossible opportunities when their children need them. For the next several weeks, Garrick trained every spare moment. Before work, after work, late at night, early in the morning. While Nova slept, he practiced defensive tactics in an empty community center gym. Years earlier, Garrick had served in a special military security unit. He had extensive experience protecting diplomats and executives. But after becoming a single parent, those skills had faded into the background while survival became his daily mission. Now he was forced to awaken that part of himself again. When tryout day finally arrived, more than 100 candidates gathered at Ashford Corporate Security Headquarters. The facility looked enormous. Glass towers reflected the sunlight. Security personnel moved everywhere. Journalists waited near the entrance. The atmosphere felt intense. Inside the training arena, candidates were tested on physical fitness, situational awareness, emergency response, and protective tactics. Many competitors performed well. Some excelled. Others failed quickly. Garrick quietly worked through each challenge. While others tried to impress everyone around them, he focused only on completing the tasks. By midday, the field had narrowed significantly. Yet the mockery continued. One candidate in particular seemed determined to embarrass him. His name was Titan Wolf. Titan wasn't just large. He was legendary. Standing nearly 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighing over 280 pounds of muscle, Titan had won multiple national combat championships. His social media following numbered in the millions. Many people believed he had already secured the job before the competition even began. Whenever Titan walked into a room, people noticed. Whenever Garrick walked into a room, people overlooked him. The contrast couldn't have been greater. As the afternoon sun streamed through the arena windows, the final evaluation was announced. Controlled combat assessments. This was the event everyone had been waiting for. The room buzzed with excitement. One by one, competitors entered the ring. Some lasted minutes. Others lasted seconds. Eventually, only a handful remained. Then came the matchup nobody expected. Titan Wolf versus Garrick Rowan. The crowd practically laughed before the fight even started. Some candidates shook their heads. Others exchanged amused smiles. Even several observers seemed convinced the outcome was obvious. Titan looked enormous standing across from Garrick, like a mountain facing a tired traveler. But appearances can be deceptive. The whistle blew. Titan attacked immediately. His speed surprised everyone. Despite his size, he moved with explosive power. Most competitors would have panicked. Garrick didn't. Years of experience had taught him something many fighters never learn. Strength matters. Skill matters more. Titan launched another attack. Garrick calmly stepped aside. The giant missed. The crowd grew quieter. Titan attacked again. Once more, Garrick avoided the strike effortlessly. A few people began exchanging confused glances. Something wasn't going according to plan. Titan became frustrated. His attacks grew more aggressive, more reckless. His confidence slowly transformed into anger. Then everything changed. In less than 2 seconds, Garrick recognized a tiny opening. One shift, one movement, one perfectly timed defensive maneuver. Titan suddenly lost his balance. The giant crashed onto the mat with tremendous force. The entire arena froze. Silence swallowed the room. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Nobody could believe what they had just witnessed. The strongest man in the competition was flat on his back, and the exhausted single father stood calmly above him. The stunned silence lasted only a moment. Then gasps erupted everywhere. Several spectators jumped to their feet. Others stared with mouths hanging open. Even the judges looked shocked. Titan himself seemed unable to process what had happened. The match resumed. Embarrassed and angry, Titan charged again, this time with everything he had. But anger clouds judgment. Garrick remained composed, patient, focused. Again, he redirected Titan's momentum. Again, the giant crashed to the ground. This time, the arena erupted. Applause exploded throughout the building. The same people who had mocked Garrick hours earlier were now cheering. Not because he had defeated Titan, because he had revealed something far more powerful. Character, discipline, resilience. The judges immediately recognized it. This wasn't merely a fighter. This was a protector. A man capable of staying calm under pressure. A man capable of controlling violence rather than being controlled by it. Exactly the type of person entrusted with protecting a CEO. Later that afternoon, Garrick was called into a private conference room overlooking the city skyline. Corinne Ashford herself sat waiting. One of the most powerful executives in the country. She reviewed his file carefully. Military service, outstanding recommendations, years of security experience. Volunteer work, community service. Everything pointed toward one conclusion. Garrick wasn't exceptional because he could defeat stronger opponents. He was exceptional because life had tested him repeatedly and he had never quit, despite grief, despite poverty, despite loneliness, despite exhaustion. He kept moving forward. For his daughter. Corinne offered him the position. The salary nearly brought Garrick to tears, but it wasn't the money that overwhelmed him. It was what the opportunity represented. Hope, security, a future. That evening, Garrick drove home beneath the golden glow of the setting sun. For the first time in years, he wasn't worried about rent. He wasn't calculating grocery costs. He wasn't wondering how to survive next month. When he walked through the front door, Nova ran into his arms. He held her tightly. Longer than usual, as tears filled his eyes, he shared the news. Nova cried too. Not because she fully understood the job, but because she recognized happiness returning to her father. Months passed. Their lives slowly transformed. Nova received better opportunities at school. Their financial struggles disappeared. They moved into a safer neighborhood. Most importantly, laughter returned to their home. Real laughter, the kind that had been missing since Ilara's passing. Meanwhile, Garrick became one of the most respected security professionals in the company. His reputation spread quickly, not because of his strength, but because of his integrity, because every person who worked alongside him could see the truth. Greatness isn't measured by muscles. It's measured by sacrifice. It's measured by perseverance. It's measured by the willingness to keep going when nobody believes in you. And that lesson would remain with everyone who witnessed that unforgettable tryout. Before we finish, here's a special request. Come on, true strength comes from the heart. If you believe character matters more than appearances, and if this story touched your heart, inspired you, or reminded you of someone who keeps fighting through life's hardest battles, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to the Dad Chronicles. Because sometimes the strongest person in the room isn't the loudest. It isn't the biggest. It isn't the one everyone expects to win. Sometimes it's the tired single parent carrying invisible burdens. The person who sacrifices everything for family. The person who refuses to give up. The person who keeps showing up day after day, even when life feels impossible. And that kind of strength can never be measured by size alone. It can only be measured by the love that keeps a person standing. When the entire world expects them to fall,